Welcome to the Rosen Report. I'm your host, Paul Rosen. We're powered by the National Benefit Authority. And our first guest, she was born in Toronto, married in 1999. Her father is a rocket scientist. Yes, I said a rocket scientist. We'll get into that. She ran for the mayor's office in 2014, as she is now the CEO of Variety Village, one of my favorite places. Welcome to the Rosen Report, Karen Stintz.
Thank you very much, Paul.
It's a pleasure to have you here.
It's a pleasure to be here today.
Now, let's get into, first of all, politics. So you went to Queen's University.
I did.
Master's degree.
Yes.
Did you, when you were in Queen's University, did you think, was there politics in your mind?
No, actually, when I first went to university, I wanted to be a journalist. And so I studied journalism, I studied public administration, I studied government in the hopes that I could write about government and politics. And so I was surprised as anyone when I ended up being elected in 2003 as the City Councillor for Ward 16.
And, you know, Toronto, what a great city.
It's a fabulous city.
Both born here.
Yep.
One of my favorite, despite the fact I'm a little biased, it's one of my favorite places in the world. So let's go back to childhood a little. And your father was a rocket scientist.
My father was a rocket scientist. Yes, a little disappointed that I chose the path of politician, but that being said, he supported me all the way.
Yeah, there's very few rocket scientists in politics.
Yes.
And I'm sure you had to deal with many of them. But
yeah. But one of the I will tell you, one of the coolest things my dad did one day is he invited me into where he worked, and his company built the Canadian Space Arm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so when I was little, I was invited to come into Spar Aerospace, and I was able to touch the arm before it went into space.
That is cool.
It was really cool.
In let's say, public school, like I know kids tease and say this and say that. Did you have any of the kids say anything about your dad being a rock? Because that's a prestigious thing.
Yeah, no, people didn't really tease me for my dad being a rocket scientist, but they did tease me for my last name. Instead of Karen Stintz, they called me Karen Stinks.
Okay.
But you know what? We overcome.
Yeah.
Kids today.
But where are they now and where are you now?
That's right.
What I love.
That's right.
The kids that told me I'd be a loser and I'd never amount to anything, none of them have gold medals.
Very good. That's right.
So then politics. Toronto City Council, and then TTC, the better way. I've been all over the world, and I don't think really there's any transit situation, no matter where I've been in the world, that can come head to head with the TTC. How was that?
Well, it was one of the more interesting jobs I've had. Not as interesting as Variety Village, but it was different. There was, at a time when customer service was really poor at the TTC, we had some reputational harm that had been done. There was a new CEO that was brought in. We had challenges with the union. We were in the midst of talking about expansion of the TTC, which is long overdue. So there was lots of interesting challenges to overcome in 4 years, and it really was a fascinating job. And it was also in that role that I was able to be an undercover boss.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So
yeah.
I watched before we knew each other. I'm actually watching the show, and I love that show because I love, and I've been on a few shows that you look and you go, I don't know, is that really true? Yeah. But the show looked fantastic because nobody had a clue who you were till the very end. So yeah. First of all, how did they approach you? And tell me how it was being on the show.
It was really interesting and a great opportunity for me personally to get to know the organization in a way that I couldn't have otherwise done, because as a chair and a politician, the organization doesn't really expect you to know how it operates. Right. But I was able to go undercover and do a number of jobs within the organization, having the benefit of them not knowing who I was, so they actually could teach me what the actual job was. Right. And as I say, it was also at a time where the TTC was known for ticket takers that fell asleep, right. People reading on the job, putting on lipstick while driving streetcars. So it wasn't, the TTC wasn't being held in high regard. So it was an opportunity for me to showcase another side of the TTC, where people come to work every day and work really hard to make sure the system's there for people who need it.
So do you feel that now in 2016, what you have done, what you did as a chair, has really progressed the TTC to where they are now? Because I think it's a different company.
I do. I think the combination of some of the decisions that we made around the union, having a new CEO, the expansion plans that were approved, I think there was a difference that's made, that has been made, that is being felt today and will be felt for years to come.
Yeah. And one of the things that I think is fantastic and people, especially in the city, need to know about Karen is she lives in the heart of Toronto. So it's not like somebody that just speaks to speak. but she actually lives in the heart of Toronto. She knows Toronto. She knows it in and out. She knows from being on transit, from traffic, from all the problems that we've had in this great city. And now you're the CEO of Variety Village, one of my favorite places in the world. And I'll tell a real quick story. So in 1999, when I lost my leg, about 6 months later, I had an opportunity through a gentleman, Shane Smith, who has been at Variety Village for years. He invited me to Variety Village. And I've said this many, many times. Anybody that knows me knows that when I walked into the doors of Variety Village in 1999, it changed my life. Where I am right now all goes back to that day where I walked into the village, and as soon as I walked in, I felt independence, I felt courage, I felt a family, I felt love. I met Archie Allison, who is an unbelievable person. Anybody out there, you want to read about an incredible person who's given his life to an organization, look up Archie Allison from Variety Village. So Karen, now tell us how it happened, and the feelings that you have, somebody who has 2 kids who are able-bodied, how you feel about being a part of the Variety Village family.
Well, it's an incredible family. It really is. And it's aptly named Variety Village because it is a village. And as you point out, Archie's been there for over 30 years. A number of staff have been there for a long time. We have people that have come to Variety Village as kids. They're little kids that are now competing on our teams. We have people like yourself that came in later in life that went on to represent Canada on the podium and win medals. So we have a rich history. And for me, it's been remarkable, very different from politics, but also very inspiring to be able to work with people and work with the team and see the impact that Variety Village has on those that we serve. On the theme that you left off, that we looked at our vision and our mission, and we thought, really, what is our mission? And our mission is about transforming lives. And it's about transforming lives for people who have a disability, but it's also transforming lives for people who don't, because they come into the village and everyone's equal. Everyone's different, but because of their difference, everyone's the same.
Yeah.
And there's no place like it in the world.
Thank you, Karen. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
This is Paul Rosen for the Rosen Report. We'll be back after these messages.
Over the last 12 months, the National Benefit Authority has taken on an amazing amount of initiatives. We're actually here celebrating today is throwing our full support behind the amazing team at Volleyball Canada.
And I really want to thank you guys, for the sponsorship of the program. It's going to help our athletes. It's a partnership. We really do thank you for your investment in Canada of what you're doing for the disabled population, but in the same breath, thanking you for sponsoring our program. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you.
You're an inspiration to me, what you've done with your life, and to many people in Toronto. Would have been a great mayor. Let's just throw that out real fast. If you had to speak to the young Karen right now, what would you tell her, motivational-wise? What would you tell her?
Well, I remember being young and being in my 20s and being so afraid of doing something that might result in failure. And it kept me back from doing a lot of things that I would have otherwise benefited from an experience point of view, from learning, from growing. So I would say to kids, don't take dumb risks, but if you really want to do something and it makes you scared inside, that's exactly the thing that you should do. And don't worry if it doesn't turn out like you think don't worry. It might not turn out exactly how you thought it might, but you're going to be better for the effort 100% of the time.
And sometimes fear is the best motivator, I find.
There's no question about it. There's no question. And the things that make you scared are sometimes the things that make you stop wanting to do something, but they're the things that will inspire you to grow.
Absolutely. Karen Stintz, what an incredible person, incredible guest, CEO of Variety Village. Okay, Karen, this is my favorite point of the Rosen Report. It is Rapid Fire.
Oh, dear.
Rapid Fire, sponsored by and powered by the National Benefit Authority. Okay, we're going really, really quick. You don't have to not a lot of thought into this one here, but just bang, whatever hits you.
Okay.
Rapid Fire. Favorite movie?
Star Wars.
Okay. Favorite restaurant?
Oh, it's a local restaurant called Roberto's.
Okay. Name of your first pet?
Sam.
Good. Name of my son. First car?
Mazda GLC.
Okay. Favorite band?
U2.
Excellent. Favorite country?
Canada.
Favorite city?
Toronto.
Ah, come on. Favorite food?
Steak.
Steak?
Yeah.
It's my favorite food. Wow.
Rare.
We're on tune here. Favorite sport?
Football.
Football.
Yeah.
Okay. One thing, if you could change one thing in the world, what would you change?
I would make sure all our kids are looked after.
That is fantastic. Karen, it has been a pleasure and an honor to have you on the Rosen Report.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. It was
Thank you.
wonderful.
This has been the Rosen Report, powered by the National Benefit Authority. I'm Paul Rosen. We'll see you again soon.